Let me explain in this video the reason exes come back, the reason your ex will come back, and the reason he or she might not come back. I help people getting back with the ex. That's my job as a relationship therapist. And in this video, I'm going to share with you everything I've learned helping people in your situation, the psychology, the mindset, and the attitude as well that you need to adopt if you want to get back with your ex, if you want to be in a team of people who can get back with their ex. Jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
First of all, rejection. That's how you feel when you are the receiving end of a breakup. Your ex is rejecting something. Sometimes we assume they reject us. For most, if not all of my clients, this is a wrong perception of the situation. For most of my clients, they only reject a situation. They had feelings for you. They usually have feelings for you. Majority of people, when they break up, they have feelings for the person. It's just that they gave up on this idea. So remember this, it's very important. This feeling of rejection, which is the worst thing that could happen in people's life. This feeling that we are not part of the same team, that someone is sort of judging us for who we are, especially when it's the most important person in our life. That is extremely hard. And the thing is, don't fall into the trap of self-blaming, feeling betrayed, feeling hopeless. Because when you feel like this, when you have those negative self-talk, this is because you are perceiving this as rejection. It's more complex than that. Don't read this story the way you would read a story if you don't have the context. Okay, it's very important. That's what we do, therapists, is we help people to understand the narrative, understand that there are more than one narrative. And usually people after a breakup, when they are suffering from the breakup, when they had something special with the person, the narrative is always extremely negative. And it doesn't reflect exactly the story. That's also why it's very helpful to have someone in your team, a therapist, psychologist, whoever, whether it's me or someone else, to give you some context, to give you an objective view on your situation. Because we are the worst at knowing what's good for us. Sometimes we feel strongly about things, we perceive reality, but the problem is we have dozens of cognitive biases that make us perceive reality that is not accurate. Okay, so why don't they come back? They don't come back if they feel your needs are not aligned. When someone breaks up with a partner, the thing that they need right now is freedom, is space, is to enjoy. You don't want to hear this, but that's the reality. If someone breaks up, the first thing that they do, they experience joy and not fulfillment, but joy and pleasure. Okay? The problem is, after a breakup, that's not what we want. We want to connect. We want to confront our partner. We want to tell them how much we are suffering. And that's the problem of what I call the concept of needs alignment, which is applicable in relationship, is the idea that don't expect your partner to feel safe, to feel that you guys can work it out if you ask, if you demand based on your needs. Okay, your needs are different than them. It's a little bit like when I usually say this example with a real estate agent. When you are about to buy a house, you don't care whether the real estate agent will have a commission if you buy the house. What you care about is the location, is the house itself. Okay, so the real estate agent is not going to talk to you about his commission. He's going to talk to you about the features of the house and everything that will make you want to buy the house. So towards the end of the relationship, obviously their needs weren't met. Otherwise they would stay in this relationship. And they feel, for some reason, this won't change. That's the important thing that you need to remember in this video. People might say, we don't understand each other. It will always be the same. You don't change. I've told you many times. It's very often when we have the perception that things will be the same, I don't feel my needs are met. I don't feel I'm being listened. And when I do, or when I express this, my partner doesn't change. Therefore, I need to escape the relationship because it's not working. That's a very frequent reason people break up. I'm going to give you another one in a minute that would apply if you, for example, are a bit of an anxious attachment style. For example, I hear an objection of, yeah, but my partner never really complained, right? The problem is when you deal with an avoidant, for example, they have a tendency to withhold emotion, to be not necessarily upfront about what they think, and sometimes the breakup can come as a shock. But the needs behind their needs within the relationship is the need for space, is the need for freedom, and somehow, that's the thing we'll have to reflect on, somehow they felt those needs weren't met. When I talk about avoidant, I really want to emphasize on the fact that I'm talking about avoidants with whom you've been in a relationship more than 18 months. If you've been in a relationship that has been less than 18 months, regardless whether they're avoidant or not, there's this element of infatuation at the beginning of the relationship where we are under our best selves, and the commitment is not necessarily the same as when it's not necessarily like 18 months plus 1 day, but around this time period where we really feel committed to the person, we really feel like invested in terms of intimacy. It's very important because some people might think like my partner is avoidant and you guys haven't had like a meaningful relationship because you've been together for 6 months and it's just the honeymoon phase, right? Just closing this part. Typical misalignment. Your ex has different view around intimacy, need more space, so avoidant, for example. Post-breakup, you decide to tell them how much you love them, to threaten them, to show them how much you suffer. These things are your needs. Call me, book a call with me if you want to discuss this. That's not what your ex wants to discuss with you. They're not your emotional support. You're not their emotional support if they feel bad. If you feel bad, they are not here for you to help you with this breakup. It's very important for you to align their needs with, to align what you're doing with their needs. So that could work with anxious attached people, but will push further away avoidant. Make me happy. It's a concept that you let me know in the comment section what you think about that. I think a lot of people will relate to this part. When you are a dumper, I don't like this word, but I don't know any other. I feel I can't make my partner happy. That's a narrative that people might say when they end the relationship. They've been with that person for a long time, but they feel for some reason they are frustrated. I feel that I try my best, but she or he is still hurt, dissatisfied by the relationship. So I'd rather leave the relationship because I don't want you to suffer more. They see you frustrated. They don't hold the key. They don't understand what they should be doing. These cases are easy to recover, and I think most of my clients are in that case. It's the idea that your needs, you had unrealistic needs, or perhaps you didn't know how to express your needs. Perhaps if you have an anxious attachment style, you were too needy, too clingy with the relationship. You didn't understand that your partner needed a bit of space, needed a bit of time alone, and you interpreted that into he doesn't love me, he doesn't care about me. So it's really about how you can, first of all, work on your attachment style, understand how to communicate effectively with your partner. That will make him or her feel, okay, I'm not the only way for that person to be fulfilled, to be happy. She or he is not over relying on me, and I can also have my me time, and they respect this, which is a very important need for me. Okay. The problem with the second case is this person doesn't make me happy. If that's the case, obviously it's way harder to get back with your ex. If you think that your ex is thinking strongly, this person doesn't make me happy, it's going to be very hard because it's about attraction, it's about intimacy, it's about chemistry. My job is to help people get back with their ex, and I'm very realistic. I'm obsessed about the success rate. I'm obsessed about the success of my clients, and therefore when I onboard clients, I make sure to align their expectations with what I can deliver. If I see that there's no chance, I will tell them. And I'd rather help people healing, moving on, and sort of working on a secure attachment style than wasting time fighting for another relationship, fighting to get back with that ex, with that person where we know it's not going to work. So it's very important for you to assess whether, if you realistically, if you objectively look at the story, at the narrative, did your ex think at some stage you don't make them happy? Most of my clients, that's not the case. Let me know in the comment section how you feel about this, because I think it's not really covered a lot online. I've never seen anything like that, but it's sort of, I had this idea when I created this slide, but actually I think a lot of my clients, their ex is leaving not because they're not happy, but they're leaving because you are not happy. Remember this, you had something special. I need to remind you this. Remember this, you had something special, something unique that you created together. And nothing will replace this. No one will replace this. So don't, of course, it's frustrating and it's upsetting when we see that our partner is dating someone new, but trust me, nothing will replace this. But the dynamic of the relationship changed. As I said, we're not talking about the honeymoon. The 12, 18 months at the beginning of the relationship are very different than if you've passed this sort of mark. And for some reason, you grew apart. And very often, when you read about counseling books, it's about lack of communication, or if you read magazines, lack of communication. When I hear lack of communication, for me as a therapist, is really about how you can understand each other's insecurities. It's by understanding your insecurities and how you sort of expect your partner to, in a way, heal your wounds, and how they expect you to heal their wounds. And there's always this dynamic, this dialogue, where we feel we don't speak the same language, where we feel like he doesn't understand me, she doesn't understand me, she expects me to understand, but I don't get it. Okay, could be either way around. And it's very important for you to understand that those problems of communication, they start within ourselves. They start from an unconscious, the unconscious part of our brain, the old brain, and anything that happened in our childhood, and how we see relationship. Very linked to attachment style, obviously. Changing, growing, evolving, you name however you want. I think, in a way, that's how I see life. We need to grow every single day. We need to evolve. We need to learn. Today we become a better person than yesterday. And so there's this element sometimes where, and it comes as a shock, where we have a realization. We turn 40, we turn 50, we have a new job, we lose our job, and we feel like, I'm changing, I need something different. That happens a lot with my clients and their exes. Their exes feel like, okay, I've sold my company, recent case, I've sold my company and I want to enjoy life. And for some reason, they associate you with my old life, the boring one, the one where I worked too much, where I didn't have time for my hobbies and see my friends. And for them, staying in this relationship means staying in this old life. Okay? So there's always this rationale that we need to fight against, that we've had our time. And now I need to open a new chapter, and you're not part of it. So, of course, if you want to connect, if you want to join your partner in their new life, first you need to assess whether you want to be in this new life, and change your attitude. Change, because otherwise you're going to end up having the same fights, the same attitude, the same life. They don't want this life. So it's very important for you to understand there's always an element of change in getting back with an ex. Always, always, always. Otherwise you'll be with your ex, right? So changing, growing, and understanding what's the expectation, what's the vision, how can I align? If I want to align with this vision, can we be a team? It's very important to assess this. However, you need to be honest with yourself. If you haven't changed before, what will be different today? The reason I'm adding this sort of piece of warning is that your ex will doubt. Your ex might be thinking, I've had many times, usually they sort of assess when you take the decision to end the relationship. It's not like you wake up one morning and say, I don't want to spend the next few days, the next few years with my partner and I'm leaving the relationship. Usually we have this idea, something happened and we feel we're not safe, we feel we can't express our needs or we feel our needs aren't met and we have like this bad feeling. And then over time we feel like it's repeating. There's a pattern where at some stage we feel like we need to escape the relationship. And so for them, okay, but we've had 6 months, we've had a year of disagreement, of times where we were roommates and nothing happened. So what will change right now? And this is why I want to emphasize it's very important. You can't get back with your ex in 1 week. It doesn't work like this. If you've been in a relationship with your partner for years, it's not going to take a week. It might take a few months, and it doesn't matter. In a way, the longer the better, the longer the stronger, because you would take time to build together this new relationship, to understand yourself, to understand the other. And there's an element of fear as well, the fear of losing your partner, the fear of not connecting with that person. But don't let the fear dictate the tempo, dictate the pace. That's the first mistake that people make, is they feel like, I need this sense of urgency. There's no urgency whatsoever. I've helped hundreds of clients, trust me, there's usually no urgency. When I work with my clients on WhatsApp, I usually tell them to slow down. Usually 99% of the time, I ask them to slow down. And yes, you can do it. You can do it. You're here to learn. So well done. You're watching my videos and I'm grateful that you are. Actually, if you want to support, you can subscribe and like this video. It does help me a lot and I would really appreciate. But yeah, if you could have, there's so many videos out there on YouTube, but you've selected this one because you want to learn, you want to grow, you want to connect, become a better version of yourself. You could have chosen to improvise or give up, and you haven't chosen this. And I think you should be grateful for that, because you've chosen the path of growth. You chose the path of how can I use this breakup and grow from it. So now it's time to follow through. Now it's time to learn about attachment, learn about your wounds, learn about inner child, learn about CBT, DBT, all the strategies, all the things that you need in your toolbox if you want to build successful relationship, whether it's with your ex, whether it's with your next partner. Because don't get me wrong, if you don't get back with your ex but don't learn from this breakup, you will repeat the same mistakes and you will be unhappy and unsatisfied and might be having the need to rewatch this video, which was the last thing I really wish you to do. Remember, the answer is within yourself. Then you can work things out with your ex. It is crucial to understand this. The answer is within yourself, not with your ex. And once you understand this, yes, you can connect, you can discuss, you can grow together. Any question, let me know in the comment section. And don't hesitate to call me. We have links in the description for you to give me a quick call. Bye-bye.
Power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer.